Smooth. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Aries Bookman. This is the Guidepost, Guidance on Godhood. Today I wanna use an analogy to try and paint a picture for you. With the relationship between video games and these concepts of spirituality. Now right off the bat, man, this ain't how to unlock superpowers for your physical life. This isn't how to cheat, hack your physical life. None of that. As a matter of fact, if you're looking for things to get easier, knowing what I'm talking about ain't gonna help. You may as well just go ahead and jump, bruh. Just go ahead and jump ship and be gone. I want to use the analogy to paint a picture so you can start to see what I'm talking about when it comes to metaphysics. So yeah, that's the first thing, man. I'm not telling you cheat codes to physical life, how to hack your physical life, how to get around doing what you don't want to do. I don't have it. I don't have it for you. I'm not gonna tell you that you're the greatest and you're beautiful and you're everything and that you're chosen. As a matter of fact, the whole chosen ones thing, that's some narcissistic bullshit. Bro, it's the same thing Christian was doing. I was anointed. So yeah, that's none of this. Bro. I want to use the analogy because it's pertinent to the time and place we live in today. Like, this is part of the reason in the Egyptian pantheon you had things like crocodiles and hippopotamus for those people. Because those things were pertinent to the people who lived there, and you could use them to effectively make an analogy. Okay? Because like I generally say, the issue here isn't about what you think. It's about how you think. It's the shape of your thinking that's your issue. Okay. Team Sierra, good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the show. It's the shape of your thinking. It is how you think that is your issue. It's not what you think. It's not that there's some new what you need to learn that you don't know already. It's the how you're thinking that's the issue. It's the how you're thinking that's the issue. It's part of why I introduced you to philosophy. Because these different spiritual systems, man, they're philosophical schools of thought. They are philosophical schools of thought. They did not exist above debate. Unless you look at the history and some different philosophy, you're not going to realize the degree to which you are completely westernized. You're Europeanized. You're not going to get it. So this isn't reducing all this stuff to some type of a physical world description. I'm not going to say this and reduce, hey, this is what the melanin is. No. Really, this is what your brain is. Really, this is the magnetosphere. Really, this is the center of a black hole. None of that, bro. You're thinking way too fucking small. You're thinking way too fucking small. Okay? So, first, I'm going to lay out what I'm talking about. Then I'm going to get into the idea of what are the implications of this, as in what do you do? Because everyone wants to tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. What do I do now? Thought you didn't want to tell you what to do. It's alright. Let's start the show up, man. Let's start the show. Oh, I gotta do this. Hold on. There. No. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I can't remember not to turn that off. This is welcome week, you guys. Just in case you didn't know. Welcome week is 1 week that I open up a mission for the Guild. The Guild is a 3-month-long continuous cohort class. This is not a folder of videos. This is not me repeating a book. Okay, it's a 3-month curated class. All right, there's original information in here, and you click the link in the description, you can go straight to the details. I know, clicking a link, oh my god, it's so much work. I may have to do something. I know, it's alright. It's alright. Look, this probably ain't for you anyways then. You gonna have to do something? Oh my god. Whatever. So, good to see you in the chat, man. Welcome to the show. Alright, guys. You can find this in the Bookman model. Once again, you click the link. All the shit is there. You can take it, do what you want. Pretend that you made it and tell people about it like you made it. Go ahead. Go ahead. You won't be able to do it like me. Bitch can't do it like me. What? I'm old. Sorry. Never mind. So, I'm going to make this analogy. Did you retract your message? I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. Alright, so I want to use this analogy to attempt to paint a picture for you. Okay, I want to use the analogy of a video game to attempt to paint a picture for you. At different times, I talk about the nature of your predicament. All right, and if you don't understand the nature of your predicament and how you're continuing to agree to it, you're fucked. You're going to stay there. You're not going to progress. What's her name? Wizard of Oz. Dorothy. All right? Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy did not understand the nature of her predicament, nor how she was continuing to agree to it. Dorothy did not understand the nature of her predicament, nor how she was continuing to agree to it. Okay? You have to grasp these things, especially coming from this Western mentality, this materialist physicalism mentality. Okay, most of the way people describe their world, and this is a problem. I'll tell you the problem. It's an ontological problem. Most of the way people describe the world in the West, and it's gone global for the most part. Thank you, Massa. Is in a physicalist reductive sense. So what becomes most real is what is physical. And then looking through that lens, trying to look back at these old systems, what people will do is they'll try to either reduce them to something that's physical, or they'll just say, well, it's a metaphor for the physical. Both of which have the same metaphysics. It has the same ontology. And the ontology is the issue. Ontology is the philosophical study of what is real, what exists, what are the fundamental categories of being, of reality. Okay? You don't need a spooky book. Maybe a dictionary, kiddo. A dictionary and a weekend to just listen to some lectures on it, okay? Ontology. It's 1/3 of metaphysics. Anyway, continuing, because I'm talking about the nature of your predicament. One of the problems with that, aside from the fact that physicalism is made not to do what you're trying to do, and so you're already going against yourself, the ontology of physicalism, of the Western world, is flat. It's sterile. And for good reason, based on what people are trying to do with it, or what it was made to do. Yeah, I get it. when you're talking about spirituality, what makes something spiritual is about it having continuity with reality beyond the physical world. Otherwise, we could just call it physical. The word spiritual will be completely redundant. It'll have no meaning. What makes something spiritual, see, this is a metaphysical issue. What makes something spiritual is that it has a continuity with reality beyond the physical world. What makes something spiritual is that it has a continuity with reality beyond the physical world. Do I need to look up continuity? God damn. One of the things I hate is a motherfucker will sit there, not understand a word I'm saying, and won't think to pause the video and go look it up. Even though you fucking could, right? No, I get it. Effort. It's just, oh my God, effort. It's, how can I do anything? Right? Here we go. We'll do a nice quick little Merriam-Webster for you, okay? Let me pull my thing back up so I can make sure I see. Okay, cool. An uninterrupted connection, secession, or union. Okay. There has to be a connection with reality beyond the physical world. The problem with physicalism, with materialism, and the natural sciences as we know them here in the West, there's only descriptions of the physical world. They are only descriptions of the physical world. As a matter of fact, the metaphysics itself is made specifically to be that limited. And so it's going to be more than just finding some new words and trying to put the new words on there. Why? Because the metaphysics you're using is a lens. It's how you frame and understand the world. And adding a few new words, especially words from a language you don't speak, is not going to change that. But I want to try and paint a picture of what a metaphysics looks like. And I want to use something that we're familiar with. All right? Video games or computer technology. Because to be completely honest, I can make the same analogy with a computer program, okay? It's not difficult. Look, the difficult part is getting rid of your old shit. I'm so serious. Anyway, so I can do that. I can have some visual as I go along, right? Here, let's do this, guys. We'll start at the bottom because that's what's going to make sense for you, right? We'll start at the bottom, then I'll go back and I'll start from the top. All right? And I want you to think about it now. I want you to think about it. Please do. You got Super Mario World, right? And Super Mario exists in Super Mario World. That little game avatar exists within a game world. That game world is the generated appearance of a place. That game world is the generated appearance of a place. I say generated to emphasize the fact that it's emergent from something else. It's not fundamental to reality. This is why I talk to you guys about Dr. Donald Hoffman. Here, I'll look it up because, you know, I get it. It's tough out here. I talked to you guys about Dr. Donald Hoffman. He's a mathematical physicist, okay? So when you're looking at physics and you see all the super complex equations, he's one of the kind of people who enjoys doing that, does it for a living, okay? Um, him and his team are uncovering geometrical structures of reality that exist outside of space-time. All right. One of them is called an amplituhedron. Okay. Um, Space-time. What do you mean, Arius? Oh my God, I hate you. Space-time is basically the medium of the physical world. So if you're looking into physics, physics is talking about space-time and everything in it. How space-time and everything in it works. That's what physics is talking about, okay? This, the amplituhedron, exists outside of space-time. I'm going to talk to you guys about this. Like, look, here, let me go back to the beginning, okay? The metaphysics I use here for the Bookman model. And this is crucial because this is part of the reason y'all have been misinterpreting these fucking maps. You keep trying to reduce it to the world and you miss what they were talking about because you try and look at it through the lens of the world you live in now. The culture, community, the language, the worldview. And so you end up trying to flatten it to understand. You got to add some more depth to your understanding of what makes something real. So the Bookman model uses physical, non-physical, and primordial, okay? 3 densities of reality. So when we talk about space-time, when we talk about the generated appearance of a place, we're talking about the physical realms right there in the red, okay? Look, you deal with the tree of life, Malkuth, it's the physical world. It's not the planet Earth. It's the entire physical realm. All of space-time. All of space-time. What do you mean? How do you know there's something outside of that? How do you know there's more than that? There are plenty of ways you can know, actually. Ancient cultures have been telling you for the longest, but if you need Massa and them to tell you they can, look, man. This is why I give you Dr. Donald Hoffman. Because he's not just somebody misreading ancient texts. I don't think he's even really interested in ancient texts. He's interested in the thing you guys will try to invoke, which is physics, space-time. He actually studies it for a living. And he can tell you this. As a matter of fact, he's not the only one that can tell you. Okay, I also give you guys Bernardo Kastrup, Dr. Bernardo Kastrup, a computer engineer, particle physicist, and philosopher. So you're talking about all these quantum quizzle-quoos, right? Because quantum is still fucking space-time. Anyways, he studies these things. He spent his youth as part of the team that predicted the existence of the Higgs boson particle. Okay? Just a little research. It doesn't take too much. And I spoon feed it to you, right? Look, he'll even talk about refuting materialism. Okay? So yeah. The generated appearance of a place. The generated appearance of a place. The entirety of Super Mario World can exist on a game cartridge, on a disc. The generated appearance of a place. See, that's if we're talking about Super Nintendo. Let's say we're talking about your PC, right? Let's say we're talking about your PC. The entirety of Super Mario World can exist in a single file. The entirety of Super Mario World can exist in a little file. Okay? So we're starting at the bottom. Let's go back. So if you're thinking about, what about me? What about me? I get you. I got you. Just like Super Mario is a little game avatar that exists in that game world, you have a physical body that exists in the physical world. Follow me. Because this is usually as far as anyone goes. I'm not talking about no fucking astral realm, the Theosophical Society bullshit. If you would ask Super Mario whether or not a Super Nintendo is real, would he be able to find a Super Nintendo in his world? Mm-mm. If Super Mario considered everything in Super Mario World to be what is real, there'd probably be people in Super Mario World like, I don't believe in Super Nintendos. No such thing. I don't believe in PCs. It's all religious nonsense. I only believe what I can see and touch with my hands. That's alright. I get it. Follow me. The generated appearance of a place. Super Mario World is the appearance of a place. It's not a place in the same way that the person who's playing the game is in a place. It's the appearance of a place. That's not to say it's not real. That's not to say it's not real. Go ask the cosplayers. It is real. It's not real the way you usually think about real, but that's the issue. How you think, not what you think. Continuing, all right? A Super Nintendo in relationship to Super Mario World with Super Mario in it, the Super Nintendo is hyper real. A Super Nintendo is hyper real. I have to look at the word hyper too. That's all right. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I just wanted to show you. It's not impossible to do. Hyper as a prefix means above or beyond, okay? That is or exists in a space of more than 3 dimensions. If we think about Super Mario's world, we can even do Super Mario 64 because that's in 3 dimensions, and it makes a little more sense that way for you, okay? Follow me. The Super Nintendo, or the Nintendo 64 for Mario 64, that's my generation. The N64 is hyper real in relationship to Super Mario's world with Super Mario in it. It's not real in the sense of it exists within the appearance of the place. It's what generates the appearance of the place. It's not real in the sense that it exists in Super Mario's world. Super Mario's issue would be the only thing he considers real is what is in Super Mario World. The N64, along with some other things, we'll get into that, is what's generating the entirety of Super Mario World. It's hyper real. Like when people are asking him questions about, well, is God real? We'll get all into that. I'll tell you what, though. Anyways, to the degree to which something of the sort is real, it's at the very least hyper real. It's not real in the sense of it's in the physical world. It's part of the machinery that generates it. Machinery, okay? Just remember, I'm making an analogy, guys, all right? So, if we pull back a little from Super Mario World with Super Mario in it, okay? That's the physical world. That's why it's in red. If we pull back a little bit from that, oh, I gotta be over here. I'm sorry, you can't see my face, right? Look at me. If we pull back a little bit, okay? Let's talk about the user interface of the Nintendo 64, or like PlayStation. I know has a very visible um, user interface. Xbox, PC, right? Very visible user interface. Do I have here? I'll do this because it'll help make the analogy. Let me see if it works. Let me see if it works. Can I? What do I have here? I wonder if I pull this up, will it fuck everything up? Okay, let's see. Look, you gotta fuck around to find out, right? Ha! Cast a spell. Welcome to the show. Good morning. My Sims can break the fourth wall when something is out of place on the map. Look, we'll get into the fourth wall. Yeah. Not all games give you that option, but, you know. There we go. The game I'm pulling up is it's a game called Poke MMO. It's a massive multiplayer online game for the Pokemon world. So basically, it's like if you took all the different regions from Pokemon and put them in a game, that's basically what this is. Um, but if you'll notice, the lovely user interface here is what's going to be generating the appearance of the place. Okay, you have the instant. I think I just fucked around and found out. Why is there a delay in my audio? Hold on, it might fix itself after I do this. Hmm. I wonder how the audio looks on here. Let me pull this up. This is my fault though. I fucked around and found out, so hey. Okay. Let's see. Oh, no delay there. Alright, smooth. Well, if it's outputting the way I want it to, smooth, no problem. Alright, so thank you, Cassis. Amar, Mario generated appearance to replace has that's why, because it's got fucking sound. Here. You can't hear it. Let me turn the sound off. Okay. I'm gonna kill this in a second. But Mario generated appearance place has contingent existence on the N64 console that which is generating the appearance. Not just the console, the game itself. Because it's easier to see it if we talk about a PC or like a PS4. Um, the cartridge. Because the N64 on its own, not really. You put in the cartridge, then you load it up, it'll do it. So yeah, what we're looking at is a generated appearance of a place. Okay. Um, so we're pulling back a little bit. We're pulling back a little bit. Here, I'll close it. And what I really want you to notice with this is the hardware is generating the appearance of a place. The hardware and software is generating an appearance of a place. Okay? The hardware and software are generating the appearance of a place. That's what I want you to comprehend. Let me close that out. Is that Reshiram? Gerson, I have no idea the name of the Pokemon. That's from Pokemon Black and White, and I I lost track. Like maybe after second or third generation. So yeah, I have no idea what its name is. But yeah, let me pull back up my diagram. So, as long as the output's good, I'm fine. So, in red, physical world, space-time, we have the generated appearance of the place with the game avatar on the inside, okay? You pull back some, you're going to have the hardware and software of all the electrical components that play a role in generating that appearance of the place. Not even just in generating the appearance of the place, in making the entire hardware and software apparatus function. Okay, so we got the console. We got controllers, memory cards or hard drives. All right, we got the television screen. If it's some type of an online game, which that was, you also have to extend that nexus of hardware and software to include the entire internet environment. So the servers, the wiring, um, servers and wiring mostly, and then that's a whole other level of that's a whole other type of hardware and software, all of which go into not only generating the appearance of the place, but facilitating different features. So let's say Cassius plays The Sims. Um, so not only you have the hardware and software in its base form, but you can add mods. That's a whole other element within the hardware and software. And so this entire collection, this realm, if you will, of machine, this hardware and software, all of this constitutes the non-physical. Okay? It is hyper real in terms of the generated appearance of the place. It is hyper real in terms of the generated appearance of the place. You can even do, because right now I'm looking at a PDF viewer, okay? Um, the PC doesn't need that. Me as the user is using it to generate this appearance of a thing. And I can mess around in it here. So you could even think of this PDF viewing program as an instance of a generated appearance of a place. And I can edit things in here, change stuff. Okay? I mean, for the most part, if you're looking at this from let's say a PC standpoint, like just like you have the game avatar in the game world, you could say from the perspective of the user interface here, my avatar, this is a mouse. If you were playing on the PS4 or the Xbox, there's a cursor that moves around so you can navigate the user interface. Okay? That this in context thing, this agent within this atmosphere, is part of the whole apparatus. All of this is non physical. Okay? We're going to pull back one more time and leave the realm of the hardware and software. And now we get into the real world where the user is sitting there. So let's say the user sits down, and keep in mind, because I'm about to walk it back the other way around, okay? The user is sitting there on the couch in their living room in the real world, or the realest of the worlds we're talking about. It's the realest of the three worlds. And from there, interacts with that hardware. The user, and this is the primordial realm, okay? This is why I have it in purple there. The user, in their world, interacts with the hardware. Controllers, consoles, hard drives, television, hardware and software. Interacts with the hardware and software, the non-physical. And by virtue of that, the non-physical, the hardware and software, generates the appearance of a place, the physical world. The user is sitting there. You got your controller, got your computer mouse, keyboard, nice little flat screen TV. This is meta real in terms of that generated appearance of a place. The non-physical is hyperreal. The primordial is meta-real. From the perspective of the generated appearance of a place, the physical world, the non-physical is hyperreal. And the primordial, the world of the user, is meta-real. Okay? So if you're down there in that generated appearance of the place, as that little avatar, you're Super Mario in Super Mario World. Let's say he's having a conversation with one of those turtle guys, right? And they're like, and the turtle guy's like, look, man, the Nintendo 64 is real. And Mario's like, bro, that's cap. Where the fuck is it? Show it to me. Point to it. What's he gonna say? It's all around us. We're in it right now. And he'd be right. He'd be right. Because it's hyper real. As the user, I can walk all the way around the television and the console. I walk all the way around. It has nothing to do with the avatar. Super Mario can't see the start menu, the settings menu. The user sees those things. See, there's different stratifications in here all along the way. I'm trying to give you a bare bones idea of it, but there's plenty of different stratification throughout here. Like, look, let me go back to it again. One of you from Genius, that generated self is non-physical. Well, if we're talking about in the appearance of the appearance of a place, so if we're talking about opening up the Sims, let's say on the PC, all right? The Sim in Sim World, Simville, I don't know what it's called. The Sim in Simville, physical. The computer, the user interface, or the place where you have all the mods, non-physical. The real world, primordial. So from Genius's point of view, that Sim, physical. And what I would say for Genius, it's primordial. And to be honest, there's room for debate right there, man. Because look, like I said, I'm trying to give you guys the most bare bones understanding I can give you. Because look, the fucking Tree of Life's got 10 Sephiroth. The Clip-Off has 11. You put them together, there's 21. There's 12 Zodiac. There's 7 chakras. Instead of breaking up the fundamental map, instead of breaking up the metaphysics into 7 categories, 10, 11, 21, 12, I'm trying to start at 3. Because look, you can divide this up, you can stratify this up if you want, even more. There's no reason to say you can't. But just to make it as clear as I can, I start with 3. Because look, if you can get 3, we can get you to anything else. Some people try and do 10 straight out the gate in a language they don't even speak. Boy, that's the... Don't get mad. Don't get mad. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit. So, look, these are different densities of reality. This is why you're not reducing these things to the physical. The physical would be the lowest thing. Like, imagine the turtle trying to explain to Mario the Nintendo 64. He can't reduce those things to things inside Super Mario World. What he can do, he could make an analogy. That's about it. But he needs to point beyond Super Mario World to begin to explain. These metaphysics pointed beyond the physical realm. There was something you reduce to the physical world. This isn't a metaphor for the physical world. The Nintendo 64 is not a metaphor for Super Mario World. This is an analogy I'm giving you guys. Make sure it's not echoing. Let me take these off. Because I'm not using any audio anyway and I can hear myself. Look, one of the biggest things that I find people wrestle with when it comes to what to do and how to see some of these things is the deeply enculturated view or perspective that what I am is my body. I know, because look, look. There's a difference between what you'd like to believe and what you believe. There's a difference between what you'd like to believe and what you believe. A lot of times when I'm asking people, what do you believe? They tell me what they'd like to believe. That's not the same. See, look, and this is how I always tell them to do it. Society EJ, it's good to see you in the building. If you want to see what you actually believe, you can start out by seeing what are you afraid of. No one is afraid of something they don't believe in. No one is afraid of something they don't believe in. No one is afraid of something they don't believe in. But, see, this is the thing. This is why I say start there, okay? Because what you're afraid of is not in the category of what you'd like to believe. It's what you believe. It usually takes people a little while. You got to get into the shadow work, because I almost got mad again. See, I'm getting better. You actually have to start doing some of the work and really be honest with yourself. That's what the shadow work's mostly about, is to being honest with yourself. Not to make sure you feel good about doing bad things. Like, motherfuckers is... Ugh. It's really about getting a real clear view and making sure you have a clear view. Because there's so many things you don't want to have to see. You don't want to have to think. And that's going to sit between you and what you're trying to see. To where what you're going to end up seeing consistently is what you already wanted to see. Remember, what you want to believe and what you believe. What you want to see and what you see. You get real caught up in what you want the thing to be. Bro, you can even say that shit about the physical world. So anyways. Let's say you're playing a game of Super Mario, right? Now for Super Mario, he running, he jumping, he losing health. You know what I mean? That shit probably sucks for him. For the user, sitting there on the couch, they have a whole different perspective of what's going on. Super Mario is like, fuck, I gotta go find this nigga Bowser. He stole my woman. Real shit, Peach be playing. Different conversation, Peach be playing. That's reality to Mario. So the user sitting on the couch? Reality is much bigger than that. Reality is much bigger than that. It's part of why I get into what is you. And you have to look at it honestly. You have to contend with the part of you that really believes what you is your body. That's why motherfuckers want to try and upgrade their body. Make sure you talk to your cells. Vibrate your melanin. Raise your kundalini back oil. Make sure you activate your 12 cranial nerves. Get your DNA centrifugal force spinning. Why? Why would those be the thing to do? Because what you think you are is your body. What you think you are is that avatar in the game. I've talked a little about this before on... Where's my thing here? Now, let me go to YouTube. Because this isn't the first time I've talked about these things. There we go. I did a show where I was talking about spiritual dimensions. Okay. You may not be able to see it on YouTube. You'd have to go to Odyssey, where I'll show you how to get there from YouTube. Um, View your channel. Look, you know what I'm saying? This isn't the first time I've talked about these things. Because if you'll notice, down here on the image, there are those two infinity symbols. Okay? And most people usually think about infinity in this monolithic singular sense. Um, and usually what they're thinking about is an absolute type of infinity. But, unless a good place to find it is in the philosophy of mathematics. They'll kind of talk to you about it. But there are infinitely many different infinities. Like, look, that's what these fucking old maps are. That's what these are. This is mapping out different types of infinity. Look, if reality is infinitely infinite, how would you ever map it out? Essentially, you can't. But that does you no good, because now you're just lost. You have to try something, right? People did this over hundreds of thousands of years. And not just any old plum bub whoever. The best minds of the community. These are philosophical schools of thought. They're not cheat codes to materialism. Philosophical schools of thought. 0 and 1, those are two different types of infinity. 0 and 1 are two different types of infinity. 0, infinite nothingness. 1, infinite something is. Okay, that's the all. You even get into the Trinity. Let's say you got a triangle. It has a finite exterior, but you can infinitely divide the interior. It's a different type of infinity. This is mapping out different types of infinities. That's how you categorize it. That's why you can't say which one of these is ultimately correct. Because at this level of analysis, there isn't an ultimately correct. What you're looking at is how you decided to frame it lends to certain consequences. Not like punishment. Oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. No. Sequence. Think sequence. Consequences. If I draw the lines threefold, certain consequences. If I draw the lines fourfold, 12-fold, 21-fold, it lends itself to different consequences about how I'm going to see it. Different cultures and communities would use it differently. We would see it differently. These are philosophical schools of thought. It's about thinking about your thinking. You have to. You can't just pick up some words and you repeat the words and feel good. Like, that's kindergarten, dude. Thinking about your thinking. What most people get wrong about the scientific method and the natural sciences, you think that when a physicist is talking to you about atoms, they're telling you what the world is. No. Mm-mm. The atomic model. It's a model. It's one particular model of how the world functions. It's made to predict behavior. It's not made to tell you what it is. See, what it is a philosophical question. The scientific method can work because it's sitting on top of a philosophical framework already. So when I say physicalism, this is the metaphysics, when I say physicalism, materialism, that's the philosophical underpinning behind the natural sciences. That's what it's sitting on. And if you just jump right to the natural sciences and you never look at the underlying philosophy that gives rise to it, of course you won't understand. Mathematics, underlying philosophy. These things have an underlying philosophy, and if you don't understand the philosophy, you're not going to understand the thing you're trying to use. Especially if y'all niggas don't do no research, man. And I'd like to say, look, okay, they're just trying to get the right answer. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. But that would be a lie. You're not trying to get the right answer. You're trying to avoid having the wrong answer. And that's different. Trying to find the right answer and trying to avoid having the wrong answer is different. Let me go back to the analogy. Super Mario and Super Mario World. Okay? You got the cursor in the world of the user interface, which is a combination of the hardware and software. You have the user in the real world. These are 3 different densities of reality. Mind you, like I said, it doesn't have to stop at 3. There's plenty of room for argument beyond 3. The trick is, though, you have to stop somewhere. Otherwise, you hit what's called an infinite regress. Okay? You have to stop somewhere. Otherwise, you hit an infinite regress. Let's say you stop at 3. Fine. Say you stop at 4. Fine. Say you stop at 5. Fine. 7, 9, 10, 12, 11, 21, 64. Don't care where you stop. Don't care where you stop. There's just going to be a consequence to it. Just like there's a consequence to not stopping somewhere, which is the infinite regress. Because if you don't stop somewhere, you're just going to fall off into infinity and all the stratifications mean nothing. So when I'm talking about infinitely many infinities, it's not just infinite regress, combinatorial explosion. God, I can't say that. I can't say combinatorial explosion. Here, let's do this. Oh, I was telling you about this. Yeah, I did this already. It's episode 55.5. I'll show you how to get to the first half of this episode, but it's called Spiritual Dimensions, where I'm talking about what the fuck a dimension is, because people think it's some place out there, that you go to some place. Dimension is not talking about place. Dimension is talking about scope and extent of perception. Dimension is talking about scope and extent of perception. It is not talking about a place, a point, no dimension, a line, 1 dimension, a square, 2 dimensions, a cube, 3 dimensions. Did we go anywhere? No. What we did is talk about the scope and extent of perception. So, this is the second half of this video. The first half got flagged. I had to take it down. Well, they took it down. Thank you. Blocked on YouTube. So, you click this link here. It takes you to a completely different website. Oh, come on. Don't do me like that. No, this is what I got to do. I have to copy the link and put it in there. Fucking asshole. Fucking YouTube, right? I don't want you using nothing outside of YouTube. Bruh. You really gonna do this to me, YouTube? Here, I'll show you where it's at then. Because I got to. Right? This is a website called Odyssey. It's the front end for a blockchain. And so basically anything you upload is on the blockchain. The blockchain is LBRY. Right? LBRY, yeah, library. Let me see. I've never even tried looking up the fucking what are you doing? You really gonna do this to me? I'll have to show it to you in a second then. Oh man. A whole thing freezing. Miss Son, what going on, man? What going? Boy. Really? You gonna do this to me, Odyssey? That's some hating ass shit, bro. For real. I'm mad about that. That's some hating ass shit. Damn. No, I gotta close that. Fuck. That's some hating ass shit, bro. No, I said everything slow motion, bro. I put everything in slow motion. Is Odyssey really that? Can't be that. Oh, shit. I got this thing open too, don't I? Can I close this? Yeah, bro. I got everything moving, bro. Damn. It's okay. It's okay. Technical stuff. This is the second half of the video. The first half is on Odyssey. I'll have to get around to that. Here's what I'm gonna do. Let's see what this lets me do, bro. Cause this motherfucker playing with me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. There we go. See, now you want to come back. Yeah, Odyssey was killing that, killing it. It's alright. It's alright. I'll probably put up a whole video just showing how to do that. Anyways, here, take a look at this. I'll be right back. Here, take a look at this. I'll be right back.
And if everybody agreeing on the same thing, somebody wrong. You see? Check? Check. All right then. They play on your emotion. Saying nothing well and playing on your emotion. Tell a person what they want to hear and say nothing well. You can say nothing if you can say it well. They play on your emotion. And that's the problem with our people. They have been teaching you what you wanted to hear and not what you really needed to hear because they didn't know what you really needed to hear. That's called the art of public speaking. They play on your emotion. So that's getting your emotion up to a certain level, and you thinking that's spiritual, that's emotionalism. They play on your emotion. And they'd come up and they would come into some stuff and they would be talking all this good stuff and people, yeah. But everybody's ignorant. You see what I'm saying? They play on your emotion. And if everybody agreeing on the same thing, somebody wrong. You see?
Yeah, but look, technology. That's all I'm gonna say. Technology. Anyways, yeah, I talk about spiritual dimensions there and what this means, and what this means in terms of metaphysics. Because look, we're used to calling the physical world the third dimension. That's inaccurate. It's backwards. It's backwards. Because what you're implying is that dimensionality begins in the physical world. And that's backwards. I mean, if you study the tree of life, you study the chakras, you study the elements, dimensionality don't begin at the bottom. Look, is Super Mario World creating our world? No. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is why the metaphysics is so important, Brian. You're missing the depth of reality. To say the physical world is an illusion isn't to say it's not real. There's definitely a reality to it. It's not what it appears to be or more than it appears to be. And that's crucial. To do something spiritually is to engage with something beyond the physical world. Does Super Mario have to do something specific in Super Mario World for you to engage with it? No. No. But there has to be more than just Super Mario World. There's more than just the physical world. Well, we can get into all kind of conversation about the physical world. And usually, most times, motherfuckers are just interested in how to manipulate the physical world to bend it to your will and get what you want. Stop trying to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Quit trying to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, realize the truth. Don't try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Stop trying to manipulate the physical world to your will. You're making it primary again when you do that. And it's telling of what you actually believe. Realize the truth. See that depth. The depth. This is why the metaphysics is important. Realize the truth of the physical world being the lowest reality. You bend. See, then you'll see. It's not the spoon that bends, it's you. What is you, right? Because look, I go over this all the time. And I say it all the time. You think it's some kind of fucking trick question because you don't understand. But that says more about your fucking understanding. And you could look some shit up, bruh. You really could. Here, I'll pull up something that I use in the guild, okay? Here we go. Let's see. I tell you, I don't hide my shit. You think I'm gatekeeping? No. Got whole fucking seasons of this shit. Fuck you mean? You ain't gotta go buy nobody's book on fucking Amazon. Here. I'll use the one I use for the altars. Well, no, I don't want to use this one. I don't want to use this one. I will use the one I use for Ascension. Yeah. So I can point to what I want to look at, bro. Where is it at? Here we go. Technology. Alright. Peep. Peep. Alright, here we go. Boom. See, most of the time, motherfuckers looking for some new story to believe. Because, once again, what is you? In general, a you is a part of a narrative. Here, I'll show you. I have the thing, bro. I got the thing. I take the time, bro. The narrative aspect of metaphysics, if it's there at all, comes along with cosmology. Metaphysics has ontology, epistemology, and cosmology. It's a cosmological narrative. But with this sort of post-Enlightenment European thing, abandoning the traditions, the cultural traditions, abandoning the narratives, all that is just fake and nonsense. You've lost the narrative. And you use a narrative to frame a you. Look, when we think about you, it extends into the past and the future, right? Past, present, and future. That's a narrative. It's not all a narrative is, but it's the fundamental components. Past, present, and future. So if there's a you, there's a narrative attached to it. This is why people will go from story to story to story and find some new ridiculous story. This is really the truth. And then so I'm not giving you a narrative. In fact, I'll help you find a narrative you're looking for. Because I can't give it to you. I don't know what's in you. Look, we were back living on the Nile River Valley. All right? Everybody in the community, I knew what was in them. Why? Because we all had the same metaphysics. We framed the world the same way. What you're looking at in a pantheon, like I said, it's a philosophical school of thought. It's a metaphysical framing. They saw reality through that lens. You have to understand how deeply we see the world differently now. Not because we're more right and more advanced and now we know the truth. Boy, get that colonizing shit out of here. Anthropological bullshit. It's not because we see the truth now. No, we see truth completely differently. We see a lot of things completely differently. You got master's glasses on, boy. Fuck you mean? Look, what is you is the crucial aspect here. You have to remember, it's not the body. See, this is what'll happen sometimes. Because you haven't looked at the metaphysics, you don't really know what to do, you just say a word. Let's say you say soul. Okay, cool. Do you have a framework that goes into? Or is it just a word? Like, how does it fit into your framing of reality? This motherfuckers just start making anything up and try and piece together whatever feels nice. And that's not philosophy, dude. There's no coherence there. What that is self-deception. You gotta check it. You gotta temper it. See, that's where the critique and the back and forth comes from. That's how you temper it, man. Anyways, the what is you is what makes a huge difference. Because look, we already decided. Look, either you're not the physical body, or let's say for the very least you're more than the physical body. Okay? So that little avatar in Super Mario, there's more to that avatar than the appearance of it in Super Mario World. In fact, a large part of what makes that avatar what it is comes from the world of the machines, the non-physical. If Super Mario World is the physical world, and the machine world, the hardware and software, is the non-physical, there's a large part of what makes Mario Mario that doesn't come from Super Mario World. This is where we start. Now, mind you, if you want me to, Yoko Chris, good to see you in the chat. Finally caught a live. Hey, man, look. Hopefully it makes a difference for you. Dude, it's all recorded. This is why you need the metaphysical depth, man. This is why you need the ontological depth. Because you to start with the spiritual work, you're engaging the aspect of you that isn't physical. Now, if you want me to give you a name for it, well, what's it called? Fine. But you have to understand this. And this is crucial. Whatever word I give you is going to be associated with a framework. And so you need to know the framework. Watch. Carburetor. What's that associated with? Combustion, auto mechanics. Melanin. Molecular chemistry. Or molecular biology, right? Yeah. I think it's molecular biology. I think that's how you say it. Sulfuric acid. Chemistry. Words have a context. Ego. What's the framework that comes from? It's the Freudian model of the self. So if I give you a word that you're familiar with, you want to make sure you're familiar with the framework it comes from. Astral realm. You know the word. Do you know the framework it comes from? Because if you don't know the framework it comes from, you don't really know the word. You know how to say it. You feel good about it. If you don't know the framework it comes from, you don't really know the word. If you don't know the framework it comes from, you don't know the word. That should be basic stuff. But because people are usually really desperate to grab whatever they can because they just kind of floating now, especially something that's going to feel good, you know, they miss the details. Alegba, where is that come? What framework does that exist in? Odin, Zeus, Amut, Marduk. What framework does that come from? Because see, what I'm pointing to there when I use those words is part of a framework. It's part of a framework. And so you want to understand the framework to understand the word. I'm over here catching up on the vids. Consultation coming soon. Hey man, look, plenty of people say it. I'm here. You know where to find me when you're ready for it. But please do catch up on the videos, man. Watch them more than once. Look up some of the stuff I tell you to look up. I'm telling you. Because I try and show motherfuckers how to do it without me so you don't think I'm trying to make you follow me. Because you don't want to follow me. I'm a fart. I'm a fart and it's going to stink and I'm going to wait till your mouth is open. I'm going to be looking back. You ain't going to notice I'm looking. What's he looking at? You going to yawn, right? Yes. I'm a piece of shit. I'm awful. I like to ruin things. You don't want to follow me. This is why I make the guild, bro, so you can understand how to do this on your own from scratch. Not only that, you have other people you can talk to about it who are doing the same thing as you, using the same fucking model. The Bookman model is a bare bones model. It's a skeleton. Think about the difference between a skeleton and a fully fleshed out organism. A skeleton and a fully fleshed out organism. I'm giving you a skeleton, so not only you can upgrade the skeleton however you want to, but then you can flesh it out. You look at something like Santadharma, the Hindu pantheon. That's a fleshed out organism. The Norse pantheon, that's a fleshed out organism. The Egyptian pantheon, that's a fleshed out organism. The Bookman model is a skeleton to show you the bare essentials. And we even talk about why those bare essentials are the bare essentials. I mean, not to say I haven't talked about it in the fucking videos, right? Anyways, my mistake. What is you? This is why I'm not just going to give you some word from a framework you don't know. I'm going to introduce you to a simple framework and let you build it from there. I'm not going to give you a piece of the Kabbalistic framework. You don't speak that language. It doesn't matter, it's another translation. No, that's not enough. And you know it's not enough. Look, that's a bad bitch. What's the little 500 years from now? What's the literal translation of that? Well, he was talking about a misbehaving dog, particularly a female dog. That ain't what I meant by that. So yeah, you got the translation. You don't have the translation. You don't have the context. The sociological context, the cultural context, the political context. All of which affect what you're talking about. These frameworks were made to fit certain people in certain places at certain times. Certain people, certain places, certain times. The Egyptian pantheon was made to fit the people who lived there at that time. That's why it's got crocodiles and hippos. Not because hippos are divine and penguins aren't. Poor penguins. Shit, go to an Arctic place where they know about penguins. They'll have penguins in the framework. Why? Because all of a sudden penguins are divine? No. The system is made to fit who is using it. The system as you know it from looking at the symbols is a collection of analogies to point beyond it. This is what a symbol does. A symbol not only points to something but points beyond itself. It points beyond itself. So you're supposed to see the symbol and see through it at the same time. You see the symbol and see through it at the same time. Y'all motherfuckers just see the symbol and then start deciding you know that. Like, you have to see it and see through it. It's pointing beyond. Nope, that means melanin. No, that's wrong. This is dark energy. You don't even know what the fuck that is. It sounds spooky. And you love the word energy. Don't even know what energy is. Won't study physics. Impressed with yourself because you're repeating somebody's words. You're just out here running around. And then catch yourself teaching. Boy, stop. I'm about to get mad again. I'm about to get mad again. This is why I don't give you a story, a narrative. I don't give you some old framework. I'll give you the most basic framework I can give you. If you really want to use those old frameworks, you want to use Orishas? Fine. Go somewhere where they use Orishas. Learn the language, learn the culture, live it. Live it for years. These initiation ceremonies weren't, I learned a few things and now I'm good. I can go through a weekend ceremony and I'm good. But stop. You're crazy. You look at water, you still see H2O. You don't see Oshun, Yemiya, Olakun. No, you see H2O. You can't just change the words. You got to see it. You got to live it. That takes a process. This is a lifestyle. The what is you comes in because how you frame the world, how you see reality, determines how you see yourself. That's how I know what you think about reality when you're talking to yourselves. I seen a nigga spell self like you spell cell, you just put an F on it. CELLF. And I'm like, bruh, you're giving yourself away and you're wrong as hell. You gotta stop reducing these things to the physical world or elements of physical world. Look, space-time is not fundamental to reality. That means everything in it, cells, melanin, back oil, energy. Energy. None of those things are fundamental to reality. Why would you make them fundamentals in a spiritual system? Because you think they're fundamentals to reality, and they're not. They're emergent properties, generated. Hell, most of the time, that's what I'm saying. Motherfuckers don't study this stuff. Most of what people call energy is the expression of energy. Energy in and of itself is inertia. It's potential. But here in the West, we generally have a hard time thinking of something that is potential as opposed to actualized as being real. We only consider what's actualized as real, and potential isn't thought of as a type of real. That's why people usually conflate the expression of energy with energy. See what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't even study these things. I don't have to be a physics expert to know this. This is the age of information and you won't do research. You just want to confirm what you already believed. How you frame reality, the metaphysical lens you use to see reality, to perceive reality, to frame your perception is inevitably how you're going to frame you. The metaphysical lens you use to frame reality will inevitably dictate how you frame you. This is why y'all want to reduce it to cranial nerves, back oil, vibrating melanin. It's because what you think you is this thing, the meat bag. I know you don't want to believe that, but you believe it. And I'm not trying to make fun of you. Look, it's in the culture. It's in the language. I tell you about the history that's led us up to this so that you understand the nature of your predicament. But you have to understand the nature of your predicament and how you're continuing to agree to it. The nature of your predicament, how it is, we're so deeply enculturated in the Western physicalist post-enlightenment type of mentality and how you're continuing to agree to it. You're trying to see everything through that lens, and you won't examine the lens itself. Of course, it's not easy. It's not, especially if you don't research, especially if you don't study, and especially if you don't do none of the fucking work. So would it be correct to say the concepts, Malik, good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the show. Would it be correct to say the concept of right and wrong when it comes to religion stems from invasion and taking one's belief / land? Well, here, let me talk to you about it. Because right and wrong, generally, we're looking for some ultimate sense, okay? And this is why I always start people with the existential essentials. Because remember, it's a philosophical conversation. At the level of analysis where we're talking about the ontology and epistemology, there isn't a right and wrong at that level of analysis. This is what I meant when I said, okay, you're mapping out infinite infinities, and where you choose to draw the line determines the consequences. So where and how you've drawn the line determines what is right or wrong, what is real, what is true. You ask a Christian if angels are real, they're real. You ask a Muslim if jinn are real, they're real. You ask a Jew if golems are real, they're real. You ask the Yoruba people if the Orishas are real, they're real. What does it mean for something to be real? It has an ontological place. It has placement in the ontology of their metaphysics. The metaphysics that people here in the West are using is physicalism. It's like you cut all the meta out of the physics. That's why everyone focuses on physics and trying to explain spirituality in terms of physics, because that's all we have in the West. That's the only thing the metaphysics is. There's no meta in the physics. That's the nature of your predicament. This is why you have to go back to the lens itself. You can't worry about which one is right or wrong. Something is right or wrong is contextual. And so you have to check your context. Look, when I show you these right here, I'm not telling you which one is right or wrong. Okay, you want to do, what do you want to do? A threefold method, a threefold metaphysics, where there's three ontological categories. You want to do a fourfold metaphysics, where there's four ontological categories. So that would be something like the four elements. You could go five, because in like the East, they have a fivefold pattern for the elements. Okay. Sevenfold, if you're talking about the chakras. The chakras are not things in the body. It is a map of reality. It's a map of a reality. It is showing you the relationship between units in a unity. They're parts of a whole. The root is all the physical world. You look at the Kabbalistic tree of life, 10 Sephiroth. So instead of doing 3 or 4, 7, 10. And it's not to say one of them is right or wrong. It's that depending on how the lines have been drawn, now you can start to determine what right and wrong are. What true, real means. These things are not some ultimate question. Like I say, these are philosophical schools of thought. They're philosophical schools of thought. It blows my fucking mind sometimes how often motherfuckers are saying, well, this ain't real, this is true. And never think to look into what makes something real. What is truth? What is knowledge? Epistemology, and it's the second part of metaphysics, is the philosophical study of knowledge. Never look at epistemology, but you'll tell motherfuckers what you know. Listen what I'm saying, bro. Like, this stuff ain't hidden. Nobody's hiding it from you. It's not hidden. So yeah, at this level of analysis, what determines whether or not something is right and wrong, it depends on where you drew the lines at. Right, look, let's say you're playing basketball, right? And You draw the out of bounds line on one particular place. All right? The ball lands. Well, is it in bounds or out of bounds? It depends on where the lines are drawn, don't it? Let's say you drew the lines a little bit further out and the ball landed in the same place. Now, maybe it's not out of bounds. That right and wrong, whether or not it counts, whether or not it's real, depends on where you've drawn the lines. And see, it's not just, see, this one, because when people want to do the thing where, okay, it's just whatever I believe. No. No. God, because then you're just going to do random things. And especially if you're not checking for the self-deception, what you'll actually do is just do whatever's comfy. Depending on where you draw the lines gives you the consequences. It gives you the consequences. It determines what right and wrong mean, what real mean, what true means. See, it's the Western mentality that has this presumption that the way that we think is talking about reality in some ultimate sense, in some most true sense. That's why you'll look back at the shit your ancestors did. If they're not your ancestors, and maybe they're, those jungle bunnies out there in the bush. You'll look back and you'll say, look at these savages. They had no idea what they're doing. Look at them. They didn't know as much as we know. They didn't think how you think. They didn't think how you think. This is why people feel like they don't have any meaning in the world. They feel like they're just floating in random chaos. What's the point of anything? Feel disconnected from themselves, the people around them, and the world they live in. There's no continuity with them and anything beyond the physical world. How we see the world is completely different. This is why I talk about the nature of your predicament and how you're choosing to agree to it. Dorothy could have gone home anytime. Dorothy could have gone home anytime. She didn't know the nature of her predicament or how she was continuing to agree to it. She could have gone home anytime. Matter of fact, she never left Kansas. I'm so serious, bro. And I'm not mad at you. I hope you don't think anything. I'm mad at you personally. I'm frustrated how simple it can be to look into this. And motherfuckers don't. They rather call themselves chosen and just start spitting out any spooky sounding word they can find and mix it with science that they never study. And they got the audacity to teach a nigga. Outside your goddamn mind. Look, the you is important, okay? What is you is really important. Like I said, how you're framing reality is going to determine how you frame the idea of you. The metaphysical lens you use to frame reality is going to determine how you frame you. And you're gonna have to extend it beyond the physical world, first of all. But to do that, you're going to need a framework. Now, fair play. Try using the Order of the Golden Dawn. It's very European. Try using Theosophical Society. It's very European. But don't confuse yourself thinking that is ancient knowledge, because it's not. It's Europeanized. It's been smashed and sterilized greatly. Fuck out of here. You can do it though. I'm gonna tell you what you can't do. Because look, man, let's say you look at Order of the Golden Dawn. Let's say you're doing something like your lower banishing ritual, right? And you got your altar set up. Why is the water, the fire, the incense for the air, and the earth pinnacle there? Why are they there? Is it because something in the atoms of the pinnacle and something in the H2O molecule? No. No. So you're going back to atoms and molecules again, because that's the metaphysical framing that you use. You need to use the metaphysical framing they're using. What's the metaphysical framing they're using? That the four elements are the fundamental components of reality. You got to stop with the molecules. Look, the natural scientists are great for predicting the behavior of the physical world. They're excellent for that. They're excellent for predicting the behavior of the physical world. That's it. They're not good for anything else. Like, look, I get a microscope and I look really closely at the ground. It's good for that. It's good for getting real close to something small. But I can't look into the whole world through a microscope. The microscope ain't good for doing other things. Physicalism has a myopic view. You can't use it for other things. It's made to do what it's doing. It's not made to do what you want to do with it. And it's not because I'm saying it. This is what I'm saying. You got to actually listen to the fucking scientists. They'll tell you this. Well, they're trying to hide it from me. Who the fuck are you? Ain't none of this shit hidden. It's in plain sight, bro. It came from a conversation with a coworker who claimed people from in another country has a disbelief than here, and the POV from here is that those people are wrong. He then asked me, how is that? He then reduces belief that science is the ultimate answer. Well, I mean, that's the typical Western colonizers' view. It's like that everyone else, what everyone else is doing is anthropology. That's why they put everybody else stuff in a museum. It's just anthropology. There's a phrase in anthropology. It's called going native, right? So if you go to study somebody, like say you study the Euro people, right, and you study it so deep that you start to believe it and see the world that way, they call it going native. Look, man, you start to get into the spiritual stuff, it's gonna feel like everything. You have to lean in. It's gonna feel like everything you know is crumbling around you. It'll feel like you're going insane. Newsflash. What you think right now, as grounded and sane, is the insanity. It's humanity shit. That's the insanity. You ripped out all your old metaphysical frameworks that fit us to the world and placed at the bottom of somebody else's. Fuck out of here, bruh. That's why Jakarish didn't fuck with them, Theosophy, and dissolved the order. Oh, is that the Indian kid? I remember because Theosophical Society was all over India, just up in there. I'm just, man, please. Look, y'all gotta look at history, man. Y'all gotta look at history. Y'all gotta look at the argument. Don't jump to whether or not you agree or disagree. Make sure you understand the argument. Do your research. Take the thing that you want to believe and try and destroy it. See if it actually holds any weight. See if it can actually bear the weight of scrutiny. Because if it can't, why would you want to use that? You're building a house, and the framing you use can't bear the weight of the walls. You wouldn't use that. You're making a samurai sword, and the samurai sword can't bear the weight of hitting another sword. That needs to be tempered. Being above debate, above critique and back and forth doesn't make what you're saying stronger. Y'all want to make this a science, an art? You're going to have to open up your mouth and be ready for some critique. That's how science and philosophy works. Period. These were philosophical schools of thought. There was arguments and debates all the time. Yeah, he was supposed to be their world teacher. Yep, that they was doing it like he was basically their Messiah. You know, because so y'all come up here with the things like the Aryan race. That's coming out of the theosophical side. Blavatsky. And y'all sit here look at the cosmic doctrine. She telling me the thing. But stop. Master done tricked you again. Get the fuck out of here. Come on now, man. Come on now. This is why I send you to metaphysics. Look, there's a broad range of things you can look up. Metaphysics and some dictionaries, man. Do the research. Motherfuckers will say ego all day. Your ego, your ego, your ego, ego death. Oh, where the fuck does that word come from? How does the rest of the framing look? You'll take the word because it make you feel good. Did you look at the rest of the framework? If you don't look at it in the context in which it came from, you're not seeing it. You take a crab out of the ocean and put him in a bucket, right? And you're just looking. Are you really seeing that crab? You need to see that motherfucker in its natural environment, right? Right? Take the engine out of the car, put it on the driveway. Is it going to function the way it's supposed to? No. It needs to exist in the context it's made for. Your body needs a heart, right? Your body needs a heart. I just take one out of a fucking dolphin, right? Take one out of an elephant. It's a heart. It needs to function in the context it's made for. And if to the degree to which you ever do get it to function, it's not gonna be the same way it was at all. You're gonna have to nigger rig and jerry rig all kind of shit to get it to do right. And we know that. We know that. That's basics. But then you'll come over here with the spiritual stuff and try and make that be the case, and you know it's not. You know it's not. But you don't want to have to see that. You're gonna make me tell you. I want to talk about other things. Man, you know me. I was in shame, disappointment for months after I found that out. At least you go through it, bruh. That's the only way through is through. Some people, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say, when I know you know this stuff. I know you can see it, but when you're avoiding the shame, the disappointment, the embarrassment, especially when motherfuckers get out here teaching and they really research nothing, chest out, you gotta have to walk it back. Ain't nobody tell you go start teaching. Fuck you mean? You gotta want to see beyond your bullshit. I'm using bullshit in the technical sense. You can look it up. Once again, because you know me, I'm gonna show you some shit you can look up. I'm gonna show you some shit you can look up. What's his name? Frankfurt? Bullshit. I'm not gonna show you some shit this is the secret they've been hiding from you. Ain't nobody hiding nothing from you. You're ignorant. That's different. That's very different. I get the narrative that someone's hiding something from you. See, when you don't know what you're supposed to know, some secret, like, oh, that must be what I'm supposed to know. Someone's hiding it. No. You want to look at the fact I don't know what I need to know. I'm confused on so many different levels. And then start the work of cleaning that shit up. Harry G. Frankfurt, on bullshit. I'm using the word bullshit in a technical sense. See, bullshit isn't the same as a lie. The thing about a liar knows the truth. They care about the truth. They care about the truth so much, they know it and want to make sure you don't see it. That's a liar. Bullshit? It doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is it feeling a certain way. It feels a certain way. It's called salience. It's salient to you. You are the everything. You the chosen one. Oh, that feels so good. It's salient. Tell a person what they want to hear, right? Here, let me show you again. Let me show you again. Kaiju Creator, good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the show. Again, let me show you again. Kaiju Creator, good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the show.
And if everybody agreeing on the same thing, somebody wrong. You see? Check? Check. All right then. They play on your emotion. Saying nothing well and playing on your emotion. Tell a person what they want to hear and say nothing well. You can say nothing if you can say it well. They play on your emotion. And that's the problem with our people. They have been teaching you what you wanted to hear and not what you really needed to hear because they didn't know what you really needed to hear. That's called the art of public speaking. They play on your emotion. So that's getting your emotion up to a certain level, and you thinking that's spiritual, that's emotionalism. They play on your emotion. And they'd come up and they would come into some stuff and they would be talking all this good stuff and people, yeah. But everybody's ignorant. You see what I'm saying? They play on your emotion. And if everybody agreeing on the same thing, somebody wrong. You see? Check? Check. All right then.
Here we go. Tell the person what they want to hear. Tell them what they want to hear. They'll eat it up. Look, bro. Yeah, you post your little thing on Instagram, right? What you want, someone to hit you with that check firing facts. You know, it's with the fire emojis. Oh, if you know, you know. Chosen ones tap in. Right? I get it. You want me to tell you about you. Oh, yeah, you the original people. Oh, yeah. Don't do no research. Don't do no history. Right? Never open for debate. Don't talk to no historian. You like to hear it, though. Want to look down at white people. I'm melanated. Don't research melanin. But stop. It's salient. It tastes good. It feels great. But it's not concerned with the truth. A commercial. What's those? The Dove body wash. You know, ooh, bitch is soap. But you see all the white, clean stuff. Little lady in the swoopy clothes and the Dove. And you see, they show you a little picture of the creaminess. Ooh. You go to the store, you buy that Dove soap. Why? Because the truth? No. Because the salience. It's bullshit. So you can't lie to yourself. If you know the truth, you can't not know the truth. But you can bullshit yourself. As a matter of fact, you can get real good at it. So good that most of you is bullshit. And it's work to clean it up. It's work. Nigga think I'm just trying to make fun of you. Nah, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I could do a lot better if I was trying to make fun of you. So much of you is tied up in the physical body. You want to believe it's more, but you don't yet. You need a framework. You want to use the Golden Dawn or the Theosophical Society? Go ahead. But what I'm going to tell you, take the whole framework. Don't take a piece. Don't pick and choose. How the fuck you know what you're supposed to choose if you don't even know the framework? I tell you right now, I don't know what to take out of a car. I can name the radiator, the alternator, transmission, the engine, the battery, part of the exhaust pipe, the tailpipe, and depending on what car, I can tell you about a catalytic converter. I don't know much else after that. You guide me through it. I'll be, oh yeah, now go to spark plugs. Right? A few years ago, I learned about a timing belt. I had to learn that by looking at the entire framework. And you see, the interesting thing about this is I only need to know the whole framework to be able to use it, right? That's correct. And again, I'll teach you about using it. But this is what happens. When you using it, don't work the way you want it to, now all of a sudden you need to know how it works. You call in the mechanic. Because the mechanic know how it works. He don't just know how to take from it what you want. He know how it works. And if you knew how it worked, you wouldn't have to call the mechanic. I want you to know how this stuff works. Not just how to do what you want to do. I'm going to tell you, because that's all you're going to listen to. Inevitably, like it's like clockwork, bro. You're going to start doing. I'm going to tell you, hey, this is the thing you need to know. Here's the foundational information. Yeah, I get all that, Aries. You won't. I want to do something. Okay, here you go. As soon as you start. Oh, shit, but why is this? Yeah, that was back in the foundational information. Oh, okay, let me go back there. You listen just long enough to get what you want and go back to doing it again. And we'll play this dance again and again and again. I know, I've seen it plenty of times, bro. Plenty of times. You're not unique, special, and different. You're more than likely very typical. Typical is average. It's okay to be average. Most people are average. That's what the word means. Oh, man. That's why I love the I'm a joke. Because all that was me a year ago. Grateful for my melanin. I'm going to be the most complete person. Boy, stop. I'm telling you. You gotta see how the joke is you. You gotta laugh. You gotta be able to laugh at that shit. Or at the very least, if you're going to be sad, disappointed, and embarrassed, you gotta be willing to push through that shit. The only way through is through. I don't tell you to fake nothing till you make it. Don't fake it till you make it. Because then you just gonna fake making it. Nah, face it. The only way through is through. You have to really look at what you believe. And what are the implications of that? You can take the Theosophical Society model when you want to say astral, and I astral travel. What's the rest of the model? Do you know? Do you see the world that way, or you just got some new words? See, if you just got the words, you changed what you think. You haven't changed how you think. You need to see through that metaphysical lens. And if you're not seeing through the lens, you capping. The only way you're going to know is if you challenge yourself. Try and destroy what you wanted to believe. Especially if you're going to do it on your own. Part of why I got the guilt. You don't have to do it on your own. You got other people who are doing the same fucking thing. So you can soundboard off of people. You can get feedback. Because see, when you're in a group of people where all you ever get is check, fire, and facts, you don't get any feedback. You need the feedback to gauge yourself. Let's say you started cooking, right? You started cooking. You ain't never cooked before. You started cooking. And you give the food to somebody, right? And everything you give them, oh man, this is great. This is delicious. You'll never know if you're not good, will you? And you come with that mud pie. And mama do the thing because she love you so much. Mama do the thing. Ooh, baby, the mud pie so, ooh, this so good. You gonna make me some more of this mud pie, baby. Ooh, this is some real pie. And you done got to the point where you want to enter that in the pie contest like it's some cherry or some apple. If you actually want to be able to make pie, you have to take that. You have to unlearn that. You have to let that go. And if you in a room where all everybody do is just check firing facts, you don't have any feedback. Math class, right? Teacher said 2 plus 2 is 4. Here you go. So 2 plus 2 is 78? Right there. You're supposed to get the feedback. No, baby, that's wrong. Here, let me see your work. Let me see how you came to that. I know it don't tickle. I know it's embarrassing. It's the teacher's responsibility, and it don't feel good. But imagine, here, and this your baby. You got a baby, little cousin, something, right? They go to school. Teacher say 2 plus 2 is 4. Here come they little ass. 2 plus 2 is 78? Check. Check. You tapping in, baby. Somebody needs to correct that child. For their own good. Teachers, I'm the teacher, so I'm better than you. No. You got to learn this. This is basic. Like most of the metaphysics stuff I teach is basic. I even show you where to go find this stuff. Because it's not hidden. Everyone has to start out as ignorance. Ignorance is the precursor to knowledge. Before you know something, you got to not know. But you're not going to learn in these little places where everybody just tell you you're right. Because they're friends. They like you. You listen to a person just because you like them. I won't give a fuck if you don't like me. I'd actually prefer it. Look, go look up what I'm talking about. Trying to prove me wrong, please. I hate this nigga Aries. I can't wait till this motherfucker fall. I'm about to find everything I can to prove him wrong. Please do. Please do. Not because I'm worried about being wrong, but you'll actually do the research. That's the only thing I was asking you to do. Go do the research. We could actually make this shit into different schools of philosophical thought. We could make it into a... Look, you get the philosophical groundwork, we could make it into a science. But you're too busy jacking your dick off in a group of people who just... all y'all do is jack. Everybody get a turn. Bro, that's not science. That's not philosophy. That's self-deception. And to know thyself, you have to do the self-correction. You have to get into the self-transcendence. And you have to get the self-transformation. All of those will give you the self-knowledge. All of those together going to give you the self-knowledge. You have to figure out where you're wrong. Anyways, that's what we talk about in the guild, bro. I teach you about how to make this a lifestyle, because that's what it is. You think of these old traditions, they didn't just look at something on the weekend, do this every now and then, only when they really, really want something. I want something so bad, I finally remembered the ancestors because I want something. That's what little kids do. Get over that shit. Especially if you're talking about you teaching now. You ready to tell somebody else? You ready to let a nigga know? You gotta grow beyond that. Gotta grow beyond that shit, man. This is basic metaphysics. Like I'm not even dancing here. You want to make this into a lifestyle. You ask, how do I make this part of my everyday life? Make it part of your everyday life, as in include it in your everyday life. Biggest reason motherfuckers don't include it in their everyday life, because they don't really think it's real life. Like, yeah, I get how you doing all that stuff over there. Okay, that makes sense. But what about in real life, Aries? What you mean real life? It's telling. That's not my fault. It's not because you said the wrong word. No, I can hear how you're framing reality using your words. Most of your thoughts are framed in language. Have you thought about the fact that the language you use and the way it's shaped constrains or informs the way you think? People like to shit on English. English is brilliant. English is brilliant. It's just you ignorant. I had to learn at least twice I didn't know the English language. This is why I send y'all to a dictionary. You want to sit here and read a book by a scholar, and you got a 4th grade fucking reading level, can barely read a paragraph out loud. Anytime you see a word you don't know, you just skip over it. And you don't have to. You won't watch something more than once, unless it's a fucking reel. The issue here with the analogy of the video game is, what is you in this scenario? And there are different ways you can approach it. Because look, if you're having trouble getting beyond thinking of yourself as the avatar in the game, look, it's gonna be a little more complicated than that. So ain't no sense in trying to jump. See, this is why we got Genius. Alright? Genius, and there are other concepts throughout history and other models and frameworks that have something comparable to Genius. So if you go into the Greek tradition, there's what's known as the daimon. Is that the demon? I know you want to just say, oh, they trying to hide it from us, and really it was... No. It's something from an entire tradition. So you can't just switch the word demon out, because what you're doing there is changing what you think. Because it's from an entirely different tradition, you need to change how you think. From the Greek tradition, there is the daimon. Okay? And once again, I tell you things you can look up. Remember Bernardo Kastrup? He talks about the daimon. Another person you can look up. Because most people know the name Carl Jung. I would hope that you interested in his work as much as, people will cite him. But 2 other contemporaries of that time that are less known is a guy named James Hillman and a guy named Henry Corbin. Here, I gotta pull it up for you. I know I gotta pull it up for you. It's okay. James Hillman. He's part of the school of Jung. So he's one of Jung's, not predecessors, posterity. So he comes after Jung. He consider himself a Jungian, if you will. He did take clinical clients, although he was less concerned about being proximal to the academic world. Carl Jung was very concerned about being proximal to the academic world. He wanted to be respected by the academics. Remember, he's a student of Freud. Almost everything we consider self-evident about psychoanalysis came from Freud. So much so, the only things we remember about Freud are the shit we don't like no more. Okay, but most everything else, you sit on the couch and somebody asks you about your childhood and dreams, all that comes from Freud. Okay? Jung was a student of Freud. They split. But Jung wanted to be accepted by academia. Okay? So the way he framed things reflected that. James Hillman, he comes after Jung. All right? I don't think Jung was dead when Hillman was going wrong. Check your timeline. Anyways, he creates what's called archetypal psychology. James Hillman creates what's called archetypal psychology. Okay? In his model, he has what's known as the acorn. All right, the acorn theory. So I just told you about genius in the Bookman model. Okay, I told you about the daimon in the Greek tradition. If you look up James Hillman and his archetypal psychology, he has something that's called the acorn. Okay, once again, similar concept. Let's look up. Once again, none of these things are hidden, okay? None of these things are hidden. No one's hiding things from you. Henry Corbin was a French philosopher, and I would say the dude was a big intellectual. He was a scholar. Multiple languages. He was credited with being the first person to translate Heidegger into French. Heidegger was a German philosopher. You'd be surprised. And even Jung said this. Jung said, people don't have ideas. Ideas have people. You like to think the things you think are the ideas that you have. And when you don't look at history, you don't look at how the world you're living in has come to be, you'll think the ideas started with you and that you're just brilliant. No. Many of the core ideas of what people in the West think came from these European thinkers. A good bit of them German. I talked to you about Rene Descartes, where we start off with the mind-body problem. Okay? Not Heidegger. Heidegger, yeah. Kant. Nietzsche. Look, Carl Jung considered himself a neo-Kantian. So he was an he himself, self-proclaimed extension of the philosophy of Kant. So if you're looking at Carl Jung but not looking at Kant, you're missing some of Jung. Nietzsche. We've killed God. What's he talking about? Taking the meta out of metaphysics. Taking the meta out of metaphysics. And the implications of that. You can see the trail if you just look and stop being so impressed with yourself about repeating words that someone gave you. Henry Corbin, French philosopher. He studied Islamic mysticism. I think it's Sufism. I think what's the name? Ibn Arabi. Let's look at Ibn Arabi. I probably don't spell that right. So look, people are upset with Islam, but look, like Islam has an entire mystical tradition. Did you check before you ran? Christianity has an entire mystical tradition. Did you check before you ran? I know you think it's bad and it's evil, but I mean, these things have a long-standing tradition. The reason people feel disconnected from religion today is because the people who made those religions had a completely different metaphysical lens than the one you're using today. The nature of your predicament, the metaphysical lens you're using today. And you're not checking the lens. You've confused the map with the territory. You're so inundated with the map that you think the map is the territory. The map is a model. Atomic model. It's a model. It's not the territory. You've been so inundated with the map, you're all map. You've forgotten it's a map and you're assuming it's the territory. You've missed it. But ignorance is the precursor to knowledge. Before you know, you have to not know. It's perfectly fine. Ibn Arabi. Yeah, Islamic mysticism. Okay? So, Corbin, I think he even knew Persian. I'm not sure if he knew Arabic. It's quite possible, though. See, these are people you can look up. Anyways, Henry Corbin studied Ibn Arabi. And he brought to the West some of the ideas from Islamic mysticism and put them in a Western framework. So Corbin has an angelology. Okay? I know you're ready to jump to demonology because you think you're so advanced and you're so out there. Oh, look at you, demon. But you didn't even leave the front yard. You're in the same fucking metaphysics. Like, slow down. He uses angelology. So where in the Bookman model I'm talking to you about genius. In the Greek tradition you have the daimon. James Hillman would talk to you about the acorn. Henry Corbin would talk to you about the angelic twin. The angel out ahead. Okay? Henry Corbin brings to the West the notion of what is called the imaginal. Not imaginary, especially not in the cultural sense in which we know it. The imaginal. It sits between the realm of sensory perception, all the way down here, the physical, and the highest levels of abstraction. Let's say the primordial. It sits right there between the two. It's an issue of ontology. It's an ontological reality. Okay? And the angel out ahead, Corbin talks about the cosmic north. where the map isn't flat. There's a vertical axis. Okay? There's more. There's a meta in the metaphysics. Remember Nietzsche, we've killed God. We've killed God and we'll never find enough water to wash the blood off our hands. We'll have to become gods in order to compensate. So, from this mindset, either you become a god or you fall victim to nihilism and narcissism. I talked to you about narcissistic nihilism. Nihilism, the belief that nothing in reality has any intrinsic meaning. Narcissism, the only thing that has any meaning is you. You are the you in you that's in you that does you. You are everything. Oh, it feels so good. You love that, don't you? You love that. That's why people in the West are so concerned about what's the self, the self, the self, the self. Yeah. You're untethered from the heavens. There's no meta in your metaphysics. It's just physics. That's why you look up cosmology for our world today. What do they give you? Astrophysics. So it's the physics of big stuff. There's no meta in the metaphysics from materialism, from physicalism. You're untethered from the heavens. This is why none of the religious systems fit. Not because they're a lie. Because of you. What is you? The lens you're using to perceive reality. How you're framing it. Where you're drawing the lines. The nature of your predicament. And how you're continuing to agree to it. Henry Corbin will talk to you about the notion of the angelic twin. Who was another one? Those were the big ones. Who else did I have there? Some people like Charles Stang, because John Vervaeke talks about Charles Stang, and I tell you guys to look at John Vervaeke as well, because he talks about what y'all are interested in. I like metaphysics. That's a question of meaning of life. You guys are curious about how to live life. How to make this part of your day-to-day life, right? Yeah, that's meaning in life. That's a completely different question. John Vervaeke talks about that. He has a 52-part video series called Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. He pulls on some of the work from a guy named Charles Stang when he talks about his notion of the divine double. Genius in the Bookman model, the daimon in the Greek tradition, born with James Hillman, the angelic twin with Henry Corbin. Harvard Divinity School, there it is. Okay, so a guy named Charles Stang is who John Vervaeke is pulling some of his work for when John divine double. But the people I just talked to you about, John Vervaeke could talk to you about them too. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually look this shit up. It's going to take a little effort, a little time. And see, that's usually people's problem. It's that you've never actually gone 10 toes down on something that wasn't money or sex. You've never been 10 toes down on something that wasn't money or sex. It's telling of what you really believe. And the mere suggestion that you'd have to go 10 toes down on something, what am I going to get for this? What you mean, money or sex? Because what is you? This work, spiritual work, is not about what you will have. The issue is being. Not having, being. What is you? What will you be? What will you be is the issue, not what will you have. Even today, people think knowing something is to have a particular proposition. It's to have a semantic proposition that you can repeat. And that's why you sit around, you go from place to place trying to get all this information because you think you're missing some information. You think you're missing some sentence that once you have the sentence, now you know. There are different types of knowing. And here in the West, it's been lost. A lot of that's been forgotten, ignored. So I use the analogy to help point in the direction I want you to be able to see. I'm using the analogy to help me point. Just like a symbol. Just like a symbol. You see the symbol and you see through it. You see the symbol and you see through it. No one else is teaching y'all about metaphysics. It's not because they can't. That's why I tell you to go look it up, and you can see how easy it is. They could be doing this. They don't know. What Bobby Hemmings say in the video? They don't know what you need to know, because they don't know. They're busy telling you what you want to hear, because that's the only thing you listen to. My money's manifesting. How do I attract love? Money and sex. That's it. Money, sex, and the shit you scared of. That's it. Money, sex, and the shit you scared of. That's it. It's like clockwork. And look, that stuff don't go away. You gotta see through it. You gotta work through it. I'm not giving you something that's gonna make it easy and get rid of your problems. No. I'm gonna set you up to equip yourself for it. I'm not going to give you something that gets rid of your problems. I'm giving you something to help you equip yourself for it. Problems don't go away. And if they did, you'd hate it. You know, what is you is the key thing. People talk about the right-hand path, the left-hand path, and the middle path. What are we talking about? These are angles of approach to the work. The right-hand path is not organized religion. Yes, all the organized religions are going to talk to you from that path, from that angle of approach. But just because you put demons on it, don't mean it's left-hand path. Just because you put a spooky-looking deity on it, don't make it left-hand path. What is you in the scenario is what makes the difference in these three. Look at those circles. Look at those circles. Same shape. What's changing is you. Hold on, I don't want to pull up nothing else. No fucking video, man. What's changing is you. Where you're looking at it from. How you're approaching it. And look, the middle path, bro, the middle path isn't even native to the West. Maybe in East Orthodoxy, but all over there. Look, bro, motherfuckers like the middle path because you can say whatever you want and nothing. You can't really check nothing because nothing's right. I mean, nothing's wrong. I mean, they overlook, well, nothing's right. And they start talking, trying to tell you what's right. Nothing's wrong, nothing's right. So how you know what to do? You don't. It's a very thin line to walk. You got to be so neutral, it's fucking bias. Not to say you can't do it. I'll even talk to you about it. But if you're sitting here deeply concerned with the self, you're going to want path of the child or path of the father. See, I don't talk to people about path of the father no more. It's called left-hand path in the Western tradition. Because y'all don't really want that. You don't. Like, it's like clockwork. You're not going to want it. It's going to hurt. It's not going to be smooth. You want something that's smooth. I know it. I know it. Because I give you a small thing to do and you can't do the small thing. That's all right, though. Want to go to the elephant graveyard, huh, Simba? Marnie, good to see you in the chat. In Path of the Father, what does I mean And what is genius? On the diagram you put myself to be genius. So is that the same, just the same as awareness as I am not thoughts, personality, physical body? No, not at all. Not at all. A bit of a misread here. I'll open it up for you, okay? Because I'm not putting genius. I'm not putting genius as myself. There we go. Let me show you what it is. You get, because you want to keep context of the colors, okay? None of it's arbitrary. None of the positioning is arbitrary. Myself is over there in the red. The red pertains to the physical. My, that's a possessory. You have a body. All that's over there. All that's over there. So that's physical body, physical world. When I'm talking myself. Okay? You see Brandon's lovely face? Brandon's lovely face is going to determine what the you in the scenario is. That I am up there, for all intents and purposes, we can say is it's the end goal. It's where you're moving towards. See, this map is for the ascension. Ascension is a general catch-all term for the work in any particular tradition. Each particular tradition has the principal work in their tradition. It's going to be a little different based on how the tradition is molded, but in general, it's the work. All right? There's a direction you're moving. Let's say, because it's really going to depend on how the metaphysics is framed. And I go out of my way not to tell you what you have to do. I will guide you. I'll put you on I'll soundboard for you, but I'm not going to make the decision for you. So what that is, this is why I say that's the end goal. Because in order to tell you how to do something, you have to have a you and an end goal. Because once you have the you and the end goal, you got all this stuff in the middle. I can talk to you about how to do it. Here, let me show you the other map. This is important. Like none of this stuff is none of this is arbitrary. Look, there's got to be a you on the map and an end goal. And once you have the you and the end goal, there's a methodology I can give you. When you want to know how to do something, that's methodological. Same you, same end goal, different methodology. Same you, same end goal, different methodology. Okay? So you need both of those before I can tell you how to do something. So that's what this map is for. It's set up to start talking to you about how to do something. Okay? Now, what genius is, I was just talking about that. But for the most part, we can say it like this. Okay? And this is usually how I teach it. Now, there's room for argument and debate about it, which I don't mind. But genius is something that is primordial. Okay? Genius is something that is primordial. That's why it's purple. You remember physical is red, blue is non-physical, purple is primordial. I keep the colors the same for that specific reason. Okay? Genius and that end goal is something primordial. Primordial is the most real. Okay? It's the most real. I put the air quotes because there's room for debate. Like I'm not making something to tell you I have some ultimate answer. It's like, no, here's how the playing field works. Here's why we have things on the playing field at all. And there's so much more room for growth. Like it's a bare bones model. How it gets fleshed out is up to you. You don't want to pick things arbitrarily because there's consequences to making choices. There's consequences to making choices. Anyways, where Brandon's face is at is saying, okay, well, what is the you in this scenario? All right. And I have videos where I talk about path of the child, path of the mother, and path of the father, but I can go through it real fast for you. Not a problem. I go through it all the time in the guild. Path of the child, because I teach the guild from the perspective of path of the child. It's the most intuitive. You don't have to do as much to start to get it. Okay? What you is on path of the child, all right, what characterizes the right-hand path in the Western tradition is that what you is some smaller thing that's engaged with a larger thing. Okay? You can think about Christianity. Your man or woman. And you can engage with angels and God. You know, these are things that are bigger than you. All right. Something like return to source. I am this little thing that comes from a source, and I must return to that source. Right hand path again. Reincarnation. I am this thing caught up in the cycles of samsara. This smaller thing that is engaging with a larger thing. Okay? That is what characterizes the right-hand path of the child. So what you are in Genius, we start off with this thing that is non-physical. We've already said, look, you're more than the physical body. That's all the stuff over there in red. Okay? That's all the stuff over there in red. You go to the blue, non-physical. That's where Brandon's face is pointing. I call this the me axis. I call this the me axis. This is where shadow work, for the most part, is taken care of. Okay, I mean, there's plenty of other things. This is where you're doing shadow work and non-physical. It's the lowest of the low, but this is stuff to get you to begin. Okay, shadow work isn't stuff you're doing physically. Like, I'm so serious. That's what people are fucking up, trying to reduce it to physical. They have no idea how to explore anything else. Anyways, that's taken care of on the me axis. The we axis is towards the primordial. All right? And what you find along that path is Genius. Genius can help facilitate that process. Here we go. So Genius is right there helping facilitate the process. When I talked about the Greek tradition with the daimon, there's your daimon. When I talked about Hillman with the acorn, there's your acorn. When I talk about Henry Corbin with the angelic twin, the angel out ahead, there's your angelic twin. Okay? It's called Genius in this particular model. And you can even look up the word genius. Because it's like, I don't like to use words arbitrarily. Because you're trying to learn. And I get that. I get that. So yeah. Because turning away from the physical world, that's the going within. That's a 90-degree turn. In order to get to that other place, to the end goal, you're going to have to do another 90-degree turn. And it's a process to learn how to do that. But as you cultivate that relationship with Genius, it opens you up to the experiences you need to learn how to do that. Because there's so much of this I can't tell you. Not only do we not have the language for it, most of the language to express this to you is symbolic language. And so I have to see the symbolic language that comes out of you. If we were back in the Nile Valley in Egypt, everybody had the same symbolic language. If we were in Mesopotamia, Samaria, everybody had the same symbolic language. That's what the pantheon was. Everyone had the same one. Nature of your predicament. You've killed God. We're completely inundated in the physical. So it's not to say there isn't more reality, because there most certainly is. But you have to reacquaint yourself with it. And it's a process of uncovering. It's a process of uncovering what's there. And without that symbolic language, it's hard for me to talk about the things that come further along. Like, for example, Genius for Brandon is a character I call Cliff. Okay? It's a character I call Cliff. There's a cosmological narrative surrounding Cliff. The same way there's one surrounding the idea of Brandon. Brandon needs to orient himself to that cosmological narrative. I can't tell. I won't tell you what the narrative is for you. I don't have the language. You have it, and you have to do the work to uncover it. As you start to uncover it, especially if you talk, we can start to speak in that language. I make it a point to learn your language. That way I can speak to you about the process in terms you will understand. I'll say something to you, and no one else will get it unless they've been listening to you. But you'll understand what I'm saying. because we'll be speaking the same language. It's an ontological symbolic language. That's what a pantheon is. It's an ontological symbolic language. And because we don't share the same pantheons anymore, you've got to uncover it. As you do that through the process, this is what people I work with, I can talk to you more about it. I mean, you're free to do it on your own. You just got to do more work. You got to pay more attention. You got to be that more dedicated. So, I mean, it's fine because it's not impossible. But you want to lean in. You want to lean the fuck in. You want to lean the fuck in like you're going to fall in. Why'd you put I to emphasize success orientation? Here, let me show you the where I originally got that from. Because it comes from another diagram I use. If you remember the diagram I used with the fucking tree on it. Where do I keep that one? Here we go. Give it a second. Technology, right? Come, sir. Come, my lady. Come, my lady. You must check a pie, baby. Ándale, güey. Yeah. Give it a second. There we go. There we go. Let me make sure you can see that. Yeah. As you remember this diagram, once again, kept the colors the same, didn't I? I'm making a distinction, a primordial distinction, as on an ontological level. I'll show you the other picture as well. But look, I don't put it on here arbitrarily. With the Bookman model, I start you out with a threefold pattern. Okay, I start you out with a threefold ontology, and I try and keep it. That way because I'm trying to present to you a bare bones model. But as I said, a skeleton is supposed to be fleshed out. Just the bare skeleton I'm giving you may not be the whole skeleton. I'm giving you a threefold skeleton. What may fit more appropriately could be a fourfold, a fivefold, sevenfold, 64-fold. Don't know. But I start you with the three. But when I'm talking about I in that sense, this is like me doing the 0 versus 1, 2, and 3. Or you could say 1 versus 3. Different ways to talk about it, really. So look, on here, with primordial, you got 0 or 1, 2, and 3. Or you could have 1 versus 3. There's room for the debate. Like I have the other video, the natural law, transcendental substratum. Okay? I go through the entirety of this fundamental map. I even have other videos where I talk about, most of my channel is talking about just the metaphysics. Just the metaphysics. This is the most important part. But everybody wants to know how to do something. I know why that's the most important. I told you, nobody want to hear me. But yes, it harkens back to the metaphysics. So I'm either pointing at 0, 1, 2, and 3, or I'm pointing at 1 and 3. Either way, it's a primordial thing. So I'm making a distinction between I am in some sense of an all, or I am in some sense of a individuated self. Okay? That's a good question, though. Because once again, I don't want to tell you what you should think. I don't want to tell you what you should think. I want to equip you to start to think. I want to equip you to start to think so you can think for yourself. I want to introduce you to the playing field and not just read you some spooky sounding book in a language that you don't even fucking know from a culture you ain't lived. Oh, stop sun gazing. I'm sorry. Stop sun gazing. Specifically, the shadow work shitstorm video stream. Yeah. I've used that image before. And you can even see, look, bro, all this orange, this is Brandon. Now down here you got Brandon's body, on this arrow, all right, physical body, myself stuff. Brandon, personality and shadow, Both of them can say, I am Brandon. And shadow work isn't just shadow bad. The two of them need work. But that complex of the shadow and personality is Brandon. Not Brandon's body. That's its own thing. That non-physical complex of the shadow and personality is Brandon. So you got Brandon, you got Brandon's body, and you got Cliff. But I can only do so much with 2 dimensions. So I have to use the color, I have to use different shapes, angles. Because and that's what I talk about with the fucking fundamental map. It's multi-dimensional. This is about places. It's about scope and extent of perception. The physical world is not three-dimensional. It's experienced 3-dimensionally, but it's not the 3rd dimension. Because that would imply dimensionality begins at the physical, and it does not. The physical is the end point. The physical is the end point. Marnie. Okay, so it's about what is you. So if I know myself to be the thing that's aware of physical and non-physical, physical car and mental image car, would that be what the I means on your diagram? Let me go back to the animation. No, that would be genius. That would be genius. That would be genius. Because I don't like to use that one, because a lot of times people like to jump and say that's what they think, that's what they know themselves to be. Unless you get the shadow work going, I highly doubt that's the case. But I won't tell you what you do. I won't tell you what to do. But what you're pointing to there would be genius. Because that's what would fall. See, this I am doesn't fall. This does. This thing falls. And to the degree to which that's what you're looking at, that's talking about genius. So you're talking about Path of the Father. Remember, once again, and I pointed this out, all I can do is tell you what you want to believe, what you believe. What you want to believe and what you believe. These are different things. Check what you're afraid of. Honestly. Because that'll tell you what you believe. Because you don't want to confuse that with what you'd like to believe. I cannot stress it enough. I'm so serious. Is the I perceive separation from all like the necessary veil to be able to do anything? Like you make the example of the necessary limits to perceive your hand versus all the inextricable components. Yeah, part of seeing is not seeing. Look, the easiest way to think about that is the Trinity. 1 gives rise to 3 by way of 2. 2 is that necessary illusion of separation. You can think of 1 as that I am, or I all, and you can think of 3 as the I, as in the individuated I. It's the Trinity. Father doesn't give the Son, He is the Son. You've seen the Son, you've seen the Father. You've seen the Father, you've seen the Son. 1 as all, or that I am. 2, because look, really when you're looking at, this is the Trinity again. When you're looking at this idea of an I am, the I part is 1. The am part is 2. The I part is 1. The am part is 2. This is why I put the E-I-E-Y-E, which is 3 letters, for the third part. All right? I am, and then you put something else. Whatever else you put out, that's the third element of it. I am. I am. But once again, and I think this is a very Western Christian thing to do, is like, oh, I want to go straight to the top. And it's like, look, bro, you get what you asked for. I can't stress it enough. But hey, you want to know about it? I'll make sure to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what you can't do. Can Brandon's body, and Cliff all say their self the same way personality and shadow can say they're Brandon? Yeah. Just like you can sit down and play Super Mario, and you can say, I'm being Super Mario. I'm Super Mario right now, Mom. I'm not taking out the trash. I'm Super Mario right now. It can completely encompass your perception, your thoughts. But whether or not it's accurate is another thing. Whether or not it's accurate is another thing. And the claim I'm making is, That body's not Brandon, and genius isn't Brandon. I can understand how you can confuse them, and there are places where, yeah, for all intents and purposes, you may as well say that. But where it's accurate is personality and shadow. Both of those are Brandon. Both of those are Brandon. That's why it's the me axis. The we axis is where that intersects. The primordial part intersects. That's between this me and genius. That's between that personality complex and genius. Okay? That's why it's the we axis. And so if you were talking about Path of the Father, what you is genius. Once again, what you like to believe and what you believe. Because I don't teach Path of the Father, mother, and child as one is the ultimate growth. It's not that one of these is correct. It's not that one of these is more advanced. It's that these are different perspectives for the same thing. It's different angles of approach for the same work. It's not one of these groups of circles is the real one. They're different angles to approach to the same thing. Different angles of approach to the same thing. These are the three paths of ascension. All right. And look, I'm so serious. When I do the guild, it's a 3-month course. Okay, it's a 3-month course, but 1 month, each month I do one of the A's. The first month we talk about ascension. The second month we talk about altars. Oh my goodness, I gotta open this up. No, the second month we talk about ancestors, excuse me. And the third month we talk about altars, technology, right? So out of the 3 months, each month we have a different A. Every month we do shadow work. It's that important. If you're not dealing with the shadow work, I guarantee you're not genius. It's in the realm of what you'd like to think. That's fine. Because look, you wouldn't be the first person to do it. Okay? But all I can do is tell you, I can't force you. I can't make you do a thing. I mean, who knows? You may be a motherfucker I just never seen before. I doubt it, though. We'll see. Let me pull this up. I don't even really need to. I mean, you click the link in the description. It takes you to the details. You can see all of this stuff. Well, not the black books that are in the class. Like, you guys have to come to the class and see that. Bruh. Where is it? Why isn't it popping up? Or is it popped up and I just don't see it? Technology today, bro. I don't know why my shit's slow today. This is crazy. I gotta check that shit. Is it about to do it? No. Okay. Anyways. Yeah. What you is in the scenario is what's making the difference between those. So whereas with Path of the Child, what you is this smaller thing engaging with a larger thing. On Path of the Father, what you is a larger thing engaging with a smaller thing. So Path of the Father isn't a way to rise above all the bullshit. No, it's a different angle on it. You still have to deal with the bullshit. There's no way to not have to deal with it. There's no way to not have to deal with it. And Path of the Mother, that's known as the middle path in the Western tradition. See, with Path of the Father and Path of the Child, the notion of the self is pretty much settled. It's pretty intuitive from a Western perspective. Path of the Mother, you're both and neither. You're both and neither. It's a very thin line. It's a very thin line to walk. It's extremely paradoxical, and the shadow work is, especially Path of the Father and Path of the Mother, the shadow work is so important. Self-deception is so much more of a critical issue. I know people want to believe what they want to believe. Is it popping up? I think it's popping up. Yeah, it's about to pop up. Okay, let's put this shit down. Wow. So changing realities, as people say, is simply just shifting attention to something else. As you are genius, but people let their personality get in the way because they see you as the body. Well, they see themselves. People see you how they see themselves. Like, genius is not a thing about personality and the performative shit people like to do. I'm telling you, like it. This is why I give you guys an opportunity to look at what something like genius would be in some other tradition. The daimon from the Greek tradition, the angelic twin from Henry Corbin's angelology, the acorn from James Hillman's archetypal psychology. I give you these things because the general inclination is to try and make this stuff something about your performative personality, about some type of an issue of your pride, and you end up missing it. It's like clockwork. But all I can do is tell you. Like, I can't make you see. I can tell you. I can tell you. And that's what happens. You know, because this is one thing I hear sometimes too. And maybe I'm hearing it. Instead of taking the time to look at yourself, you'll be really caught up in looking at, well, people always do this. Everyone else do this. We're just all out here doing this. And so often your framing will be what everyone is doing, but it won't actually be on what you're doing. As a matter of fact, you'll frame you in relationship to everyone else because of what you really think you are. Bro, the shit is subtle. This is what people have missed in spirituality, especially dark shit. It's subtle. It's subtle. They get so caught up in the Hollywood notion of things. It's subtle. And another reason they don't like the subtlety, remember what I said, what you like to believe and what you believe. Most of the time, they don't really believe it. And they're doing this to try and get themselves to believe. Look, you tell them to do the thing, right? They go and do it. Oh, shit, it worked. What the hell? Oh, damn, that's crazy. Why? Because it was in what they like to believe and not really what they believe. It's like clockwork. Oh, man, what's it doing? Did it stop doing what it needed to do? It might have. Damn, bro. Tripping. No. Okay, there it goes. Oh, shit. But I guess that's just method for Path of the Father, as you said. Just use the body. Yeah, you can get caught up with what other people think. You gotta really dive into what you think. And especially with this stuff at the beginning, it's not so much some new thing you need to go out and do. It's re-examining what you've been doing. A lot of the beginning work is re-examining what you've been doing. Because look, the experience you get from re-examining what you've been doing and how you've been in your own way will show you what your capacities are. And once you've gone through, you cleaned up, and you see all the stupid shit you've done and the shit you can do because you did it, then you can start to actually move forward and progress. People are so quick to look for some new thing to do. And they miss, part of this new thing you need to do is re-examine what you've been doing because you haven't been paying attention. Because you thought you knew. Pitfall, be heavy leaning on the both and neglect the neither. Yes. Because when you hold on to that both, it makes you feel so big. And because there's a subtle, deep attachment, it's a Western thing, to the idea of the self. Oh shit, what is it doing? Why is it saying that? Oh man, is it fucking up? It looks like it's fucking up. YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth. What do you mean it's not receiving enough video? Oh man. It's okay, I've been doing this shit for long enough. It's alright. Just stop.